From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
This is devotion. I owe you nothing. I be myself and I ain't frontin'. And no. I owe you nothing. I be myself and I ain't frontin'. And no. I don't have to walk.
It's the week of Friday, March 23rd, 2018, and it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and here with me in our Orlando studios is Eddie Big Cat Koffoltz.
Amen. I'm here.
Over there on the ones and twos, our illustrious producer, my brother, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
On the Skype line from Loverland, Virginia, Jesse Carey.
Hello.
And all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, our newest podcaster, author, speaker, and podcaster, Annie F. Downs.
Good morning, gents. Am I farther away than Jesse? You always
No.
indicate that I'm farther.
No, just it's a new locale.
All
Further,
the way.
I believe.
Got it.
Further west and all the way west from Nashville, Tennessee.
All the way.
This week's show is brought to you by Samaritan Ministries, a healthcare sharing organization. When the medical bills arrived for Cody's cancer, the Samaritan Ministries community was there to help. Notes, cards, and financial help came directly from other Samaritan members straight to him, enough to take care of the entire cancer need with no concerns about how the bills would be paid. Nearly 250,000 Christians are caring for each other like this every month through healthcare sharing. To learn more about how you can be part of this community of Christians helping each other with healthcare, visit SamaritanMinistries.org. I do believe, Annie F. Downs, that you are a member of Samaritan Ministries.
I am a member of Samaritan Ministries. I love it.
Has it worked for you?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I just think it's kind of cool that you don't only get your financial needs taken care of medically, but people are sending letters and saying they pray for you and all sorts of nice stuff. I just think it does feel like a different level of what healthcare is supposed to be.
That's really awesome.
You got me with that Cody thing. I didn't know where you were going. And then all of a sudden
Yeah,
I
and he
realized...
said, who's Cody?
You're like, wow, this is a
like,
powerful testimonial.
It's an example
and then
of
it was
a real person whose life was impacted by
Yeah.
healthcare sharing.
Yeah, I thought we had a new cast member, but...
All the way.
For this week, we have a great show in store for you. Coming up later, we have this kind of up-and-coming preacher named N.T. Wright.
Tom.
N.T. Wright
Yes.
is coming on the show to discuss his brand new book, Paul, a Biography.
Oh, man, I had a friend who just read it and says it is absolutely incredible. I'm dying to read it.
Well, or you could just listen to his segment on today's show.
I will. And do y'all know how I feel about Paul? Have we ever talked about it?
No. Do you have
no.
strong feelings about Paul, the apostle?
Super strong. I do not prefer him.
Just because of the whole chopping the ear off thing?
No.
The denying
he's-
thing?
that was Peter.
That's Peter. That's
Is he
Peter.
snarky?
Wait, the guy who started the church? What's wrong with him?
Is it because he's snarky?
Yeah, I think he could have said things nicer. I mean, he's growing on me. I did a couple of studies of his books and he's growing on me. And so my friend Luke Norsworthy tells me you should read this book about Paul because I think it'll really help you to really like him.
Is Luke's favorite apostle Luke?
Yeah, for sure. Wouldn't it be?
Ironically, he's a big John guy. He's a big John guy. No, Annie, I hear you. I feel like I have complicated feelings about Paul as well, and I feel like
Yes.
you're wading into dangerous theology. I'm not a theologian, and maybe that's why I shouldn't even talk about this kind of stuff. But I'm glad
Or not. I just want to credit...
I'm glad Tom's on today to clear some things up. But I do feel like, again, this is going to get me in trouble, but I don't care. We're trying to talk about interesting stuff, right? Like, you feel like, don't you feel like like some in the Reformed camp, they treat Paul like he's Jesus, right? Like, I get that what he wrote is
Truth
part
bombs.
of the New Testament.
Jesse Carey with the bombs this week.
But I'm just saying that's my issue with Paul. It's like we've made Paul into like this like member of like the Trinity almost sometimes. I'm like, hey, Paul was a dude. Like I get like the New Testament, obviously his letters were canonized as part of scripture. But I mean, like, let's keep in context who the man was and like his social biases and things like that. Anyway, I'm glad we got someone like N.T. Wright on to talk about those things today.
Man, Jesse, I'm so on your team about this.
Oddly
That's exactly
though,
how I
it's the
feel.
same reasoning that makes me always and almost only like I have to force myself not to read Paul's words. I have to
Every
force
day.
myself to
Why?
Because it is it's the you can like feel his mistakes. Like you can just tell he is wrestling. And I love that. I love the fact that he's kind of a little too sarcastic and not that always great a guy. And it's really transparent. And it's like, okay, well, that's someone I can connect with and understand.
Well, the thing is, like, I feel like his personality comes in his writing. Like, he's someone who obviously is like very analytical and is very good at like reducing a message down to like particular ideas and like a formulaic understanding, which is important. But I feel like if you just look at the words of Paul outside of the context of like I said, who he was, the cultural context, and also kind of the person of Jesus, which some people do. They just look at their doctrine is almost solely based on the works of Paul. Like you lose like a holistic picture of the gospel sometimes. That's why something like N.T. Wright's work or even the movie that comes out about Paul, that humanizes him kind of lets you understand what the context for those letters were.
How do you think Paul would react to people opening prayers with the word daddy?
Who does that?
A lot of people.
No.
I don't know anyone who does that.
No. She's in Nashville.
Yes.
Hey, Eddie, are you involved in a weird cult?
No. You've heard this before. People
in the daddy cult.
I read Paul every day and open my prayers with daddy.
Yeah,
That's
instead
weird.
of saying like Father or God, they say daddy. You've never heard that?
Never once.
I've
my
heard
gosh.
Abba. I've heard Abba. But,
Yeah,
then,
I'm like,
then
okay,
I
with
realized they're actually in a cult that is worshiping the disco band.
Yeah.
See, oddly,
if you're gonna
when
pick
I have my
one-
quiet time, I always play ABBA
Yeah.
in the background.
Dancing
Just,
Queen. When Dancing Queen happens, they know just to leave you.
hands up.
Yeah.
He's dancing like David did to Abba.
I have the worship flags going. I have a shofar.
Both hands
Dancing
up.
Queen.
You put your carpet out on the ground and bow towards the east. I know how it works.
Oh, wow. Can't say daddy at the start of a prayer. That's terrifying.
That was weird.
Also
and
coming up on the show today, Passion Music has a new album out called Whole Heart, and they are on the show. N.T. Wright and Passion.
W-H or H-O-L-E?
W-H-O-L-E.
I'm less interested, but I'll still listen.
So you were more about, you wanted a musical journey through a heart murmur.
Yeah, I wanted to understand. I thought it was maybe they were finally getting into the surgical realm.
Yeah.
And that's an untouched area of music where we learn about, what
Well,
happens.
that's Matthew's specialty, if I remember correctly. Wasn't he the physician?
He was.
Yes, well done.
Or Luke. I can't remember. It was one of those guys.
Actually,
think it
Luke.
was
Matthew
Luke.
was the
It
tax
was Luke.
collector.
See, I messed them both up.
Yeah.
Come on.
Damn
Yeah,
it, this
Matthew-
isn't your strongest showing, bud.
Yeah, Matthew ran the tilt-a-whirl, but Luke was definitely
He was the
physician.
physician.
Yeah,
Luke
which
the
one was the
physician.
carny? Which one was the carny of the ancient world?
Who said daddy a lot? You know what's funny is we had actual theology, and then it just, like, how quickly it was able to just fall off the ledge.
Again, I'm so impressed, Jesse, with your theology.
And we were accusing one of the apostles of being a carny. Yeah, it's
Jesse's a deep well, Annie. You
I know. I believe it. I just love how he said what I haven't been able to put it in that good of words before about what my angst is towards Paul.
I know. I always want to hear new activist Jesse. Not just relevant Jesse.
But here's the thing:
gosh.
most of my intellectual capacity is busy articulating much more trivial and much more interesting things than the works of the apostles and the scriptures. I mean, snore. We got people for like N.T. Wright for that.
Yeah.
So.
His ratio of like working on hot pocket stuff in his mind versus theology it's 100 to 1.
Yeah.
What would you categorize as hot pocket stuff?
I don't know, but I've talked about hot pockets on this show I haven't talked. I've
We
heard
should
Jesse.
we should do a pie chart of what occupies Jesse's brain.
Yeah, I mean
just-
it's quite complicated.
75%
I'll be
microwavable
honest, it'd be a
foods.
little shocking for some people. I don't know that people would really want to go there.
It sounds like a good editorial question of the week. Let everybody tell us.
It is. It's
What
similar
occupies
to a
Jesse's
12-year-old boy.
Hey, moving the show along, it's time for our weekly look back at what happened in culture and entertainment. It's time for
In case you missed it.
Hey, in case you missed it,
ready.
Christian singer Andrew Peterson, he's apologizing for his new music video's lack of racial diversity. So the singer-songwriter recently released the music video for the song, Is He Worthy? The song itself is actually a moving meditation on the coming kingdom of heaven, but not long after it appeared on YouTube, Peterson started getting feedback from fans disappointed by the lack of racial diversity in the video, which features a large and entirely white choir. Peterson took the criticism to heart, saying the feedback brought him to tears. In a lengthy apology, he wrote, The irony was that the song is based on one of the most gloriously inclusive passages in Scripture, Revelation 5, which says, "From every people and tribe, every nation and tongue, he has made us a kingdom of priests to God to reign with the Son." The camera swings past the all-white faces just before he sings that line. This is the very definition of painfully ironic, he said. What was meant to be a video drawing attention to the glory of Jesus, one that opened the door for all people to praise him, had become, for some, a source of grief. He went on to explain that he called several of his friends who were people of color, apologized, and prayed together with him. He wrote, "Because I believe God works all things for the good of his people, I have to trust that, though I'm small potatoes in the music world, my misstep with this video will lead the church to good conversations, better understanding, humility and love, and forgiveness between everyone affected by it."
I'm glad he didn't try to rationalize it.
Right.
Just
own it.
Right.
Lean in.
Just
I mean,
apologize.
have y'all watched
Sounds
it?
like his heart's in the right place.
I mean, it is literally, and I love Andrew Peterson, neighbors, friends, I know him, but
Cool.
it is a bunch of white people in black clothes. I mean, it is really clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That is
like
the
you said, at
problem.
least he's kind of owning it and kind of learning it as like, kind of using it as like a teaching moment, you know? So good for him.
Hey, in case you missed it, the Coen brothers wanted Jerry Falwell to play Jeffrey Lebowski. This month marked the 20th anniversary of the Coen brothers' weird cult comedy, The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
With all the renewed analysis about the movie itself, one strange piece of trivia has been somewhat ignored. Joel and Ethan Coen floated the idea of offering Liberty University founder and controversial pastor Jerry Falwell the role of Jeffrey Lebowski. Not the dude,
No.
but the film's villain, a role that ended up going to David Huddleston. As Alex Belth explains in his behind-the-scenes book about the production and pre-production of the movie, the filmmakers had a wish list of names for the role of the Big Lebowski, and alongside names like Marlon Brando and William F. Buckley was Jerry Falwell. Of course, there's no indication that Falwell would have accepted the role, but it would have made for a very different movie.
I don't think there's many ways to improve The Big Lebowski. Like, I've seen The Big Lebowski many, many times and I laugh. And obviously, if people haven't seen it, I can't really endorse it. And I have a hard time saying that Jerry Falwell would accept the role considering the amount of profanity in the movie. But I will say this would have certainly made it somehow even more interesting if he played the role. To see him, I don't know how familiar you guys are, but the Jeffrey Lebowski, like the old guy, the villain, he has such great rapport and back and forth with Philip Seymour Hoffman's character the whole time.
Oh, man.
That seeing Jerry Falwell in that role would have been unbelievable and
Unbelievable.
But hey, never happened.
I've never seen that movie. Am I the only one who's never seen it?
Not in the world, but I would say
this-
certainly on this show, and a lot of people have seen it. You should hang out with Andrew Peterson and watch it.
It's
You
like
guys are
saying you
friends.
haven't seen Anchorman or you haven't seen like...
Listen, I can quote Anchorman start to finish.
But I feel like a lot of people can do that
Settle
with Big Lebowski too. I feel like once you start watching Big Lebowski, it becomes like an Anchorman, or like I was listening to actually another because they had the 20th anniversary, some analysis about the film, and someone was making the case like without the Big Lebowski, there would be no Step Brothers. Like that style of just
I could see that.
absurdist comedy that just gets more and more insane as the movie goes
Step
on.
Brothers.
You know, really pave the way for movies like that.
So it's 20 years old.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to one of those. I think it's 20 years old.
Yeah, well,
I
that's
think
the
that's the thing,
point,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Always wanted to go to a
Then
Lebowski
I can tell you exactly
festival.
where I was. I was in the I Kissed Dating Goodbye season of my life where I was like in youth group all the time. No wonder I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Lord would have just struck you down for
you
that.
couldn't see that movie.
I
in
couldn't
youth
see
group.
that then. No.
No.
Now I understand. I didn't understand before because I like comedies, but now I understand.
Hey, in case you missed it, Arcade Fire gave an electric performance on SNL this weekend. It was the band's 5th appearance on the show, and they also announced a new world tour that will kick off this summer. Here's a clip of their performance of Put Your Money on Me.
I'll say this. I don't feel like you can watch an Arcade Fire live performance and not like instantly become at least somewhat of a fan of them.
So obviously this new album isn't critically and popularly is not as popular as some of the previous ones.
Yeah.
And you know, they went more disco and stuff like that. And I was kind of down on it. And then they headlined Lollapalooza last August.
Yeah.
And it was, and I had the chance to shoot it. So I was in the photo pit, like, you know, 5 feet from them. And it was that new music being performed live was, I got it. All of a sudden I got the album.
Yeah.
Like it transformed the music.
It's pretty fun.
It like comes over you in waves.
It's good,
so
like party
interesting.
music. It doesn't quite have it's not as critical listening as like old Arcade Fire, where like you almost felt like you need to put like headphones on and really pay attention.
What I didn't realize until I saw it live was just how poignant the lyrics are. It's actually very significant lyrically, like their old stuff. It just doesn't have the epic crescendo that so many of their other songs
It makes you
had.
stop and listen.
Right.
And their drummer had arguably the best laugh of SNL. Did you see the little sketch that they were in? They did a little drop in, and it was
so funny.
I have a rule not to recreate SNL sketches, but they are a band that like is very good at what they do.
You have a rule to not create SNL
Yeah, talk
sketches.
more about that. That's interesting.
Because like in high school, my go-to class clown bit was reenacting that weekend's SNL.
Right. Yeah. And I would have done that too in high school. But now I have, no, but like,
Tiny
truly,
bird.
When I was a child, I thought like a child. But to quote someone named Paul, maybe you've heard of him, not a fan personally. No. But when I was a child, I thought like a child. But now that I'm a man, I think like a man. I do not quote SNL anymore. Not a fan of that guy, though.
Yeah,
to be
it's purely a
honest.
comedy thing. I can just never do it justice. So I get like super excited and I want to explain it, and I'm like, okay, so then they're all wearing gold in this app, and nobody ever laughs.
So it's like when somebody has the audaciousness to go to a karaoke night and sincerely try to cover a song that they have no business covering.
Adele.
You either
If
need
you
to
see
get the
Adele come
joke
up on the screen, it's
Right.
ridiculous. You know
Right.
they're going to fail.
Yeah.
And they don't have the twinkle in their eye where they know
They're in on the joke.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
When it turns into a serious thing, we got a problem. So anyhow,
Yep, that's
watch
right.
watch SNL with them. They had a great little laugh on it.
There you go.
At the end.
They were
Hey,
great.
in case you missed it, the movie I Can Only Imagine about the Mercy Me song came out this past weekend.
Oh, yeah.
It made more money per theater than any movie last weekend, probably because people just wanted to hear that song on my way to heaven again. The faith-based movie, based on the writing of the hit Mercy Me song, outperformed box office expectations, ranking third overall behind only Black Panther and Tomb Raider. So it'd be a wrinkle in time. Estimates for I Can Only Imagine said it would make about $2 million, but it ended up taking in more than $17 million opening weekend, even though it just released in 1,600 locations. What's more, the movie had the highest per-site average among wide release movies this weekend. So there you go.
I still miss you, Grandma. I sang that song at her funeral.
I Can Only Imagine.
Yeah.
You sang that at her funeral?
Yeah, she asked me to, and I have a beautiful voice. So what am I going to do?
Hey, did anyone else? And if this reference goes over your head, then please go listen to last week's podcast. Did anyone else have "On Their Way to Heaven" in their head all week up to now? I'm on
Jesse.
my way. I've had it
Every
nonstop
day.
in my head. And
The fact that we close the show with it is the thing that sticks with you.
I loved it.
It's like when you're in the car, the last song you heard in the car is the one you're singing all day.
Yep.
That stupid ending on the podcast.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful song. It's
Eddie, will you sing that at my funeral?
I will sing that at your funeral. Yes.
It's a perfect song for that.
Do you want it on your guitar or ukulele? And do you want Andrew Peterson to be with me?
Andrew Peterson and all of his
choir.
Yeah, Andrew Peterson and a
very, very diverse
Nashville choir.
Yeah, can you get Andrew Peterson and a problematic choir singing my funeral? I want them to sing the Dennis Quaid hit "On My Way to Heaven," and then we'll have a reading from any of the Paul, any of the Paul
choir. That is as good as it gets, Jesse Carey. That is. Sometimes I wonder why you're here, Jesse, and then
now,
there you go.
And now Andrew Peterson and the problematic choir. I feel bad. I'm making light of this. He apologized. I feel like
Andy,
I don't know.
This is the first time it hits home. Really, are you doing okay?
She's going to see him out at the mailbox later.
Yeah, we're all looking at you right now.
She's
No,
like,
I'm having a great-
she's like, I'm not really friends with that guy Jesse on the podcast. He's a real
Yeah, no,
jerk.
I'm having a great time. I love everything about this.
He
Yeah,
does
well, you
not
were in the
like.
choir,
He doesn't
so-
even like Paul. So
Right.
Amen.
Oh, man. Hey, and lastly, in case you missed it, this week, Pastor John Gray, who's been in the magazine, he's been on this podcast, he talked with the Breakfast Club, the morning radio show,
Yes.
Charlamagne the God, about leaving Lakewood Church.
Yeah, I saw the headline, but why is he leaving?
Well, he's served as a pastor, teaching pastor at Joel Osteen's Houston Church for years.
Yeah.
But went on the morning show to explain why he now feels called to bring his ministry to South Carolina. I'll let him say it.
Oh, I
Here's
see.
a clip.
Now, you recently left Lakewood, man.
Well, we're in the process of
leaving.
Yeah. We're moving to Greenville, South Carolina, and so we'll still have the relationship with Lakewood at least throughout the end of this year, and hopefully over the years. But we're focusing on this new thing.
I didn't know that you could do that. Like just up and leave a church and go to another set of shop.
It's not like Chick-fil-A where you can just get a franchise. Like, God, I'm gonna go ahead and move out here to Greenville because they need you. We just feel like that's where God called us. Houston is the 4th largest city, most diverse city in America.
Yeah.
And things were going good. And but I told my wife, and I just bought her, a new home. And I said, but I feel like God is about to move us.
Wow.
And I can't even tell you why. I mean, but it was time.
Yeah.
And we've been there 5 years. 5 is a number of grace. It was our grace period. And it was time to move to something else. And
what was that feeling like? What was that call like? Like, why South Carolina?
What you mean, why South Carolina?
Monk's Corner in the house.
But why? Like, what was that call for South Carolina?
Well, honestly, I've always had a heart for smaller towns. I grew up in Cincinnati. And my wife's from Dothan, Alabama. So we're both, kind of relatively small to mid-sized towns.
Yeah.
And, I was serving Pastor Joel and Pastor Victoria's vision. We served that vision, and we thank God for that. But, there comes a time when there's a vision in you.
Right.
And it just depends on the right place to launch it. And Greenville, great people, emerging city, and there's just a lot of wonderful opportunities there.
Good for him. That's a bold move to leave.
Yeah.
One of the largest, most influential churches in the world, right? Like,
I mean, what's interesting is, I remember T.D. Jakes was a pastor in South or North Carolina in a smaller church and stuff like that, was getting more of a national platform, and then moved and launched the Potter's House in Dallas. And it's, one of the biggest mega churches in the country now. But, needed a larger metro area, right, for the size of his ministry. And so it's interesting that John Gray is kind of doing the opposite at a similar stage in his ministry.
I mean, even if he goes to the largest cities in South Carolina, which I guess would be like, what, Charlottesville? I mean, that's still not a massive city.
The other interesting wrinkle in this is how, like, the Breakfast Club, which for people who don't know is like a syndicated, primarily kind of hip hop morning show that's out of New York, is becoming like a stop for pastors.
Yeah,
like
what is with all lenses on?
Yeah.
Well, because Charlamagne the God's a Christian.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I would. Hey, Cameron, you know what I would wish? That some Christian outlet would like talk to him in like an in-depth profile,
Like find out more about his
Yeah.
story,
like
and
his
his faith
backstory.
and stuff
Man,
like
that'd
that.
be so interesting. I'd love
Maybe
to
How
like-
could
read
we
that.
ever find that?
Maybe like, I don't know,
I think
the
I would pay.
the May issue of Relevant.
think-
How much would you pay to read an article like that,
I would
Jesse?
pay to subscribe to a publication that would feature articles like that in many
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, I would too.
And I would go to their website and I would click everything and share everything on social media. Hey, can I tell you one funny sharing on social media story real quick?
Yes.
So, last night or yesterday during the day, I came across this clip and I sent it to Cameron and I said, I want to bless you with this, brother. And it was a clip of this choir. And I was going to play the audio in case you missed it, but it makes it without watching it, it's not as funny. But I don't know the context for it. I looked and I couldn't find it, but it's like this Austrian choir of dudes. And Cameron, wouldn't you say it was probably looks early 80s, late 70s that was filmed?
I'm going 70s.
Yeah. From the haircuts and the quality of the film. And they're singing some manner of like Gregorian chant, right? But they're using a singing method that I have never encountered in my life. Cameron, have you ever seen anything like it?
No, it was sticking their tongues in and out very rapidly.
Ooh. So they're basically going this.
like that.
And it's
Like
a
they
whole
couldn't do
choir.
vibrato, so they were doing vibrato with their tongue.
Neat.
But they were doing it
all
on
of
their
them.
lips.
Sounds like a great idea.
And so it was like the camera was panning across their faces very, very closely. And it was like gloriously sounding, but they're doing this really bizarre thing with their
what
tongue.
song were they doing?
As far as I know, it was an original. I've never heard the song. It was some sort of like, chanting. And so I sent it to Cameron. We all got it. Cameron sent it to the staff. Everyone got a good laugh. So I told the guys, I'm like, we need to write like a funny slice about it and like post on the website. Just, a little levity. So he posted.
Just the thing of like, I think your inspiration was like, if your worship leader is looking for some new material.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
That's how we framed it. And then we sent out a tweet that said, "Bless your worship leader with this video today."
Oh,
and we tweeted it out.
yeah.
And so I was on Twitter last night on the main account, just kind of looking at some things, and I came across that that tweet was a lot of people were replying and laughing, and then I saw one of them was verified. Which isn't uncommon, but I was just curious because I didn't. Usually, if it's verified, a response, I most of the time I know who it is, and I'm like, who is Patty Millette? And
I know that name.
I hovered over. I was like, wow, she's got almost 4 million followers. Who is this?
Who is Patty
And her
Millette?
bio said, "Yes, I'm Justin Bieber's mom."
Justin Bieber's mom,
Here's what
yeah.
Justin Bieber's mom said about the
What?
tweet. Crying face. Thank you. This was amazing. I definitely need more of this in my life. Hey, thanks, Beaver's mom. Share it with JB. I think he'd get a kick out of it too. And tell him to share it to his 95 million Instagram followers. We'd appreciate that.
Wow.
Reciprocate
Wow.
that, Patty. But
Patty Millette.
thanks for checking us out.
Don't you want to know who shared it?
Appreciate it, Beebs moms. Appreciate it, Mrs. Beebs.
I just want to know the path of how it got into her feed. That's what I want to know.
Right.
I guess the Lord.
Somebody
Paul.
blessed her with it. And somebody
Not Paul,
listened
no,
to
Paul didn't.
Jesse and blessed her with
Yeah,
it.
that clip is all about blessing. If you want to be blessed, go to the site and find it or follow us on social
But
for
listen-
other gems like that.
Don't you kind of have to wonder sometimes, like stepping out of it? For us, it's all jokesies. But for them, and for all of the practice that went into it, and the recording, and the setting up of the studio, and the rehearsals, and getting a babysitter because you got to go to rehearsal for this was a real thing. How does that happen?
That is literally how I felt about the praise band I was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Like, we thought it was real.
Really, really important.
Yes.
And you weren't even an adult,
No.
right? Because it kind of makes sense to have like 8th grade, rock star fantasies, or like this is like, God really cares about this or something. But
Right.
like these people, I just can't figure that out.
I'm just glad it does exist.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, no one has ever tried singing like that, much less like orchestrated in a choir. Like in my mind, it's never occurred to me, like in my car or like in the shower or wherever you're singing, that I'm going to try singing by just running my tongue rapidly back and forth in my mouth and do a whole and compose an entire song like that.
To get the right mental image, it's almost like they were licking their lips at like 4 times speed. Like side to side.
It's quite impressive. I'm not doing it justice. It's phenomenal. But anyway, to take a note from Beaver's mom and watch it.
That'll do it for In Case You Missed It. Stay tuned. Up next, Slices. Listening to Albert Hammond Jr. The song is Muted Beatings. That's awful. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Sine Bose with I Owe You Nothing. Just what I tell Chandler every day. Okay, it's time for Slices. What do you have, Jesse?
Okay, this one I think is interesting, and I'm kind of interested to hear what you guys have to say. Do you guys? Does anyone here watch the Netflix show Black Mirror?
No, I've heard it's scary.
Yeah,
I've
you
seen
told
it
me
a
it was
couple
scary,
times.
Jesse.
A, it's scary, so I'll never watch it. B, I get the gist because every time they share one of those robots getting out of the room videos, people are like, this was the last scene of Black Mirror.
Yeah, it's not scary. It's just like
It's dark.
yeah.
The best way to describe it is like a modern take on the Twilight Zone. That's all based on technology. So it is kind of these like dark. They're not really horror stories, but kind of like thrillers that take technological innovations and take them to the furthest rational place. Like, this is what could potentially happen if we continue with some of these technological conventions that we're experimenting with.
I was listening to NPR a couple weeks ago, and they had a segment on where they had a guy who wrote a book 30 years ago about what would happen with the internet, like how it would, affect our lives, affect our thinking, affect our culture and all this stuff. And he was like dead on. And then they had the writer from Black Mirror on as well. And he was talking about, because that's a lot of what Black Mirror is apparently about, is like the doom and gloom of the inevitability of what's happening with technology, and that we're not stopping to think about the ethics and implications of what we're embracing, right?
No, we're not.
Yeah.
And he said that he is like personally more pessimistic and scared about what's happening. He's not optimistic that technology and advances are a good thing. He's actually like, I'm blanking on the word, but he's like cautious and cynical about bettering humanity and all this stuff. And so, but he's like, at the end of the day, I'm not saying like Black Mirror is prophetic and it's inevitable, but it's like, why aren't we thinking about this stuff? Yeah.
Cautionary.
Well, I mean, I think it kind of plays on the idea that innovation always outpaces ethics. Like, people will innovate without thinking about the ethical implications.
Did you come up with that sentence? Jesse, who are you today?
I know. It's like weird.
So anyway, so I think, so there's an episode in season 3 that's called Nosedive. And the episode is about, each episode is like independent of each other. So it's not serialized, and kind of plays on a different idea. So in this particular episode, people will, their ability to like get a nice apartment or get a certain job or to have these different social benefits are based on a social score. So you're more likely to get these things if your social score is high. And how you get that social score high is there is like the government essentially like looks at all of your online interactions. So your neighbors, people you do business with, people you go to church with, can give everyone in their life a social ranking. That's all put together in this algorithm, and the opportunities that you have in life are based on how you treat other people, or at least how you're perceived to treat other people through your social score. So that's what happens in the episode. And obviously, because it's Black Mirror, everything goes off the rails for somebody in a very dark and problematic way. But China is actually implementing something that is kind of terrifyingly similar to what happens in the show. So they are creating a social credit system, the Communist Party there, for citizens, that if a citizen's credit score gets low, then they could be banned from using public services. Like, they won't be able to take public transportation. They could be kicked off flights. They could have really limited, a severely limited ability to kind of get around and take advantage of government services if their social credit score gets low. So you can get and the way you get a social credit score, for some of it like makes sense. Like, if you have like certain violations, like if you like abuse your subway card or something like that, you can't use the subway. That makes sense. But other ones are more, I think the implications are scarier. So if you were to like, one of the ways that you can lower your credit score is if you're in the government's eyes, spread false information about a terrorist attack online. So if you're spreading fake news, they can say, well, you can no longer fly, or you can no longer take a train ride. If you are late to pay like your the insurance portion for your company there, like any kind of like minor financial violation, all of these things collectively can lower your score, and they hit a certain point, you won't be able to get around in China.
Well, I heard about this, and it's not credit, it's a social score, and it's also things like being critical of the government on the internet and things like that they'll tag you for. The report I heard talked to a guy who had gotten blacklisted because of this, and he couldn't travel. He, instead of being able to say, you can't take the bullet trains And so instead of taking a bullet train to work from where he lived, which is a 20-minute commute, he had to take the regular trains, which took 4 hours. And so he's blacklisted from the bullet trains because of his social score. And the thing is it was a mistake. And there's no policy in place to really dispute it, or there's no agency to take, there's no clarity or transparency about who puts you on the blacklist and how to get off of it if it's a mistake. And this guy had been fighting in court for years to try and clear his name. And there's no agency to clear the name, which is the really problematic thing about it.
Yeah. And
so it's already going. It's happening.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing, as I was thinking about, is that already kind of happens in sort of non-official capacities, like the inability to clear your name. So let's say you are wrongly accused of something, or you are mistakenly identified in the media as being involved in something, and all these stories and posts are posted about you, and you're dragged on social media and your name is out there everywhere. Even if you're later absolved, you're always Googleable and people will likely see that first. So I mean, to an extent, I feel like this already happens in a non-official capacity in just the way that technology has evolved. You can get on a sort of social blacklist and almost never be able to get off. But it's terrifying that it's actually now being done in an official capacity for lots of reasons. But one of them, which is what Cameron just explained, is that, it's a non-transparent system, especially in an authoritarian government.
I'm just mainly scared that Jesse keeps bringing slices from China. That's some dark web stuff.
I didn't realize it was 2 in a row, but come at me, China. Come at me. I don't mean
you might not want to say that.
Please do not come at me. I'm already banned from bullet trains in China, which is concerning to me. So
I also think that the train disparity is pretty crazy.
Isn't that crazy? It's
4 hours and 20 minutes?
Yeah, they have an antiquated, it'd be almost like taking subway stops, or a bus. You drive from point A to point B, direct line, or you have to take the bus and you go the routes and the stops and the delays and the waiting for the next one and you got to transfer.
Yeah.
It's that.
Boy, I'll read a text that I got from Chandler during this. Chandler said, "I have no problem with any of this. Please vote for me."
Oh my gosh.
It was weird.
Chandler's new podcast, Why I Love China.
Yeah. Why I agree.
I agree with
social
everything.
exercising.
So don't ban me from a train. Yeah.
Man.
All right. What do you have, Annie?
Well, laughter for starters. Okay. Do y'all watch The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Netflix?
Love it.
Oh, sorry. On Amazon.
On Amazon.
Love
it.
Love it.
Sorry.
Watched every episode. I think it's fantastic.
I know. It's great. You're going to love this slice then, Eddie. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, it is a show about a 1950s housewife who becomes a comedian, and she has a manager named Susie Meyerson. Mm-hmm. And it's about time for people to start voting for Emmys. And so Amazon has used marketing money to create this kind of Emmy buzz around The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And it is so interesting to me. They are, do you know this already? They're putting up, Eddie, they are putting up billboards that say things like, it says, "Dear Sir or Madam, I have a new client you need to meet. She's so funny. She makes Lenny Bruce blush. For booking, call her manager." That's me, Susie. And then has a real phone number.
Oh, no way.
When you call that phone number, you get real comedians on the other end pretending to be Susie. Like you've really called her.
What's the phone number? Let's do it.
Let's call her right now.
All right, I'm calling him.
Okay.
Gaslight. Susie Meyerson, personal management. What can I do for you? Wait, listen. My best comic is about to go on. You have never heard anything like this before.
My husband left me 3 months ago for his teenage secretary. However, the other night he came home for some clean underwear and a fuck. Actually, just for the underwear. I threw in the fucks to free. Anyhow, Lolita found out, and boy, was she seemed.
Right. So if you call before hours, if you call before it starts, or before they're awake in LA, you get this recording of her doing her stand-up bit.
That's funny. So that was Alex Borstein who plays the character of the manager. And she's also the voice of Lois on Family Guy, and she was on Mad TV. She's very famous.
Yeah. And so if you call during the day, there's like 150 comedians that they have trained and paid to answer your call like you're trying to book this comedian.
That's incredible.
And it's going to last for 4 weeks, 4 full weeks. And the article says, they said, we know that it's mostly not Emmy voters who are going to be calling. It's mostly going to be fans, but it's just going to get some buzz around it. And I think it's incredibly smart and funny.
But
that show is interesting.
I was going to say, but Jess. How many, once this goes out, I feel like there are just a lot of people in the world that if they know that there's a phone line, that if they call someone on the other end, doesn't matter the intention of the phone line, but there is someone being paid to talk to them, will just call and dump their problems to. We'll treat them like a counselor, like a bartender or something.
Like a therapist?
Yeah. I think there are people that would be like, oh man, there's a comedian out there that'll listen to me yabber on about something. How many people are just calling and have no intention of talking about the Emmy credibility of this show and are just calling to talk to somebody? I feel like...
Tell me some other things about that person. Does that person have a job that you're talking about? Because that doesn't seem
I'll say this, Annie, one summer I was a lifeguard at a pool, and the pool was 5 feet deep at its deepest point, and it was a particular rainy summer. So most of my summer was spent just standing there. Literally just standing at a
so
pool
lots of calling phone
for
numbers.
an 8-hour shift. But soon people from this apartment complex knew that there's a guy just standing there all day long, and people would come down and just talk, and talk about their problems, talk about whatever. Because Chris Gethard has an entire podcast of this where people know he's going to be at a studio at a certain time, and people come and just talk to him about their problems because he knows there will be someone there to listen to. I feel like this is running for 4 weeks. 2 weeks in, it's going to be a complete disaster, and these comedians are just going to have their ears talked off by randos, wanting to have someone to bounce their problems off of.
So have you guys heard of the Hall & Oates line, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You know that there is a phone number you can call just to hear a clip of Hall & Oates?
Yeah.
I did
Chandler,
not know that.
Do you have it? Listen.
Okay.
Listen.
Welcome to Call & Oates, your emergency Hall & Oates helpline.
Call & Oates.
To hear one-on-one,
Call &
please
Oates.
press
That's
1.
great.
To hear Rich Girl, please press 2.
For sure, too.
To hear Manica,
For sure, too.
please.
You're a rich girl and you're gone to
Call & Oates emergency line. You just need to hear it.
Well, and then Houston rapper Mike Jones back in the 10 years ago got famous because he had a hit song, 281-330-8004. It was his number.
Yeah.
And he was like, call me Mike Jones. And that's how he promoted himself. Yeah. It was like everywhere he put his phone number out, like, call me Mike Jones. And the song did it, and he blew up.
And you'll know Bob Goff did it. He put his phone number in the back of his book, and he did it again in the new one. And he told me when I saw him the other day, I saw him at maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he'd already gotten 50 phone calls that day.
Oh, wow.
Listen, I was with him. I hate to tell this story, but I mean, this is true. This is so I'm of the mind about Bob's phone number that I'm like, 2 phones. There's got to be 2 phones. It's a real number that he has on him, but it's got to be 2 phones.
Yeah.
Right. Listen, we were in the White House a couple of years ago, and
no big deal.
He and I were walking down that hall.
It was when it was like okay to be there.
Right, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So we were walking down that hallway from the East Wing along the Rose Garden. There's just me and him walking, and his phone rings, and he's like, "This is Bob." Oh yeah, hey Cameron, here's the phone. Tell him where we are right now. Hello? We're in the White House? What? Oh my goodness. And it was just a reader. It was a reader who just called Bob, and he answered in the White House. And then we go to lunch, and I was like, Bob, come on, level with me. There's the family phone, and then there's the public phone. Come on. And he goes, no, it's one phone. And he told me then that he took caller ID off of his phone so he wouldn't know who was calling him. It might be his daughter's school calling, or it might be his wife from work, or it might be a reader, and it forces him to pick up the phone every time. And he only doesn't pick up the phone if he's obviously in an airplane, sleeping, or at family dinner, but he will pick up the phone otherwise. It's
just
crazy.
insane to me.
That is wild.
He is the king of creating a connection with somebody for 90 seconds. It changes their life or will stick with them forever. But he's the king of getting off the phone. It's amazing.
Oh, he ends it beautifully.
Oh, you feel lifted up by the way he gets off the phone with you.
Yeah, that's right. And it's been 82 seconds for real. And he's like, it is so great talking to you. bye. And you're like, Bob loves me.
I talked to Bob Goff. Yeah.
I will say one of my favorite bits that we ever did was when you guys were when Jesse was doing the all night charity water thing where you had to stay up and watch all of the
Trapped in the Cage
movies, and somebody we like started giving out Chandler's phone number to try to get him a date.
Yeah, in the middle of the night,
and it started to get like shared, and all of a sudden Chandler's getting like.
I wake up to like 50 texts.
That was one of the few times that Chandler kind of put his foot down afterwards, but it was like real gentle. But I remember it was like the next week's show because of course I'm just milking the joke.
What did you have? 43 texts.
Yeah,
something.
Yeah. And Chandler was like, "Hey guys, stop giving up my phone number."
Chandler, did you ever get a new phone number?
No, it's the same one. At some point, someone was like, "Hey, what was Chandler's phone number?" And on Twitter, a bunch of people were like, "Oh,
they
this
screenshot
is
it. They saved it because in the chat it came and went, and somebody screenshotted it, and they kept resharing it.
Let's send it out again.
Yeah, should we call Bob? By the way,
Let's
just
call
ask him how he's doing.
Let's. Can we put it to the test right now and see if he answers?
Who's talking?
I've met
Cameron,
him before. I'll be
I've
cool
never
about
met him.
Are you really going to talk to him?
Chandler's talking.
It's dialing.
Well, remember, it's 8 a.m. over there.
Chandler, you're talking.
Annie, you have to talk. Annie, you talk.
Nope.
Chandler
Chandler talks.
I'm not saying anything. It's going to be Chandler.
Does this turn into prank anchors? Like prank anchors?
All right, let's hang up. I don't want to wake him.
Yeah.
But that was really his phone number. I wouldn't
And he had
want
the
it to
double
turn
ring
into a
like it
prank.
was international. Is he out of the country? Maybe.
He was calling through Skype, I think.
Yeah.
Chandler was calling through Skype.
There's a great comedy bit there's a comedian named Jay Larson who like is driving one day and he gets a call from an unknown number and just puts in his mind he's going to answer it and just go with whatever happens. And he ends up inserting himself into this dilemma at a small business who he like claims to know something about the budget there, and it goes on for like weeks until the whole thing blows up. But it is so funny. But I'm always tempted to do that. Like when it's clearly a wrong number, or like Annie, that slice you brought last week about a text message clearly intended for someone else. Just sometimes just go with it. Just go with it and see what happens. You know?
That's right.
See where it leads.
All right. What do you have, Eddie?
That was really fun, everybody.
I'd like to just do more prank calls, but whatever you guys want to do, I can do my slice.
Can I give you one prank call anecdote? I had my first, before I got into podcasting, I had a radio show at my college that got kicked off the air because we started doing prank calls.
Hold on. Just a pause real quick.
Short-lived, but it was great.
$10 and a bunch of relevant stuff if anybody can get us a recording of that radio
I guarantee none exists, but Cameron, you would know this reference.
I'll throw another $10 into that, Eddie. Make it a big
$20 and a bunch of relevant stuff.
Cameron, you know our big moment on on that show. Like, do you remember? I don't know if he was around when you were around Tulsa, but a guy named Biker Fox.
Oh yeah, Biker Fox.
You have always been you.
So Biker Fox was this guy.
His middle name has always been Blaine.
Biker Fox was this guy, and he's probably still out there for all I know. I think they made I think a couple years ago they made a documentary about him. He would wear like full on biker gear, like spandex, right? And he had like a crazy mullet. Cameron can affirm all of this. Yeah. And he would go and basically like he would only refer to himself as Biker Fox. He had a website and everything. And this is back in the day when it was kind of weird to have your own website if you weren't like, a business or something.
GeoCities,
And so he would wait till there was like a stoplight in the busiest part of the intersection, and he would ride out there and do a trick that he claims to invented. That's not really a trick. It's called the Biker Fox Hop, and he had one called the Biker Fox Flip. And here's what he'd do. I swear this is true. He would ride out in the middle of the intersection in his bike gear, with mullet flowing, jam the front brake of his bike, and go flying over the handlebars and try to land on his feet.
And try to land on his feet. Yeah.
This is totally true.
It's a famous thing in Tulsa. It's the biggest cultural event every year.
I had my co-host. My co-host was this guy named John Gulick. And I was like, John, dude, because we were just starting our show, and I was like, man, it'd be awesome. Like, we got some buzz for our show if we brought Biker Fox in as a celebrity guest.
Incredible to hear the origin story of what makes Jesse.
And so
it's always the same.
We waited till it was the YB Full Armor intramural football game, which is like a huge thing.
Huge intramural football game. The two wings hate each other.
They had like a
right,
PA
your wing
system and
competitions.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But this is like the biggest one on campus.
Oh, it's a
so
big
like
deal.
we scheduled, this is like our old school guerrilla marketing. We hung flyers up that Biker Fox is coming. So we like scheduled Biker Fox, the Biker Fox interview for after the football game. So the idea was after the football game, everyone goes back and listens. And we told him to come and do tricks on the field at halftime. And we didn't tell like the intramural people. We didn't tell anyone. We're like, no, dude, it's totally cool. Like, we're a radio show host here. It's not a big deal.
Oh my gosh.
And so, like, at halftime of the game, Biker Fox goes out in the field and no one knows why he's there. They all know he's there. And, like, the intramural people are like, we didn't authorize this. But then he starts doing the flip and people are going bananas. So no one's going to kick him off. He's giving high fives. And then after, we just ride him to the studio and wait for the game to end and start the interview. It was great. It was a short-lived show. I really played my cards incorrectly there. Pushed the limit. But,
So they closed your show because you interrupted the halftime of an intramural football game?
No, they closed my show shortly after. This is a little inside
Great
baseball, but a guy who used to do some work with Relevant, Cameron, you remember Dave Rancino? Good buddy.
We know Dave. Yeah. I don't know.
Dave at the time was the station manager, and he was the one that had to go to the angry meeting and had to fire us because we were doing so many prank calls. But anyway, it was good time. I should see if we can get Biker Fox on the podcast sometime. I'm sure he's still out there.
I'm sure he's not.
You got fired by Dave Ranzino because your show was prank calling too much?
Yeah. Gosh. I didn't like administrators were like basically said we're abusing the platform or whatever. But
Have you ever seen Jesse happier than retelling that story? Like, honestly, Jesse, was him riding onto the field the best moment of your life?
I mean, it was pretty great. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. And like I said, we had banners up all over the campus. Like, it was like we totally went with gorilla on it, and it wasn't like we had any financial incentive.
Jesse,
for
when
this.
y'all would prank call, would you just dial random dorm numbers?
Yeah, who would you prank?
What's funny is
you're asking all the right questions.
We had a phone book at the time, and we would call because after the bike, this is so stupid. But after the Biker Fox thing, we would promise that we'd have big celebrity interviews, and so we were like today on the show, it's really big. We got Larry Bird on, and we would just go to the phone book, like the yellow pages, and find people named Larry Bird and just call them and interview and talk to them as if they're Larry Bird.
So you're just calling
stupid stuff like that. It
in
wasn't
your
malicious.
city, not
it
even
wasn't
in the
malicious.
school.
It was stupid.
No, a Tulsa phone book. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it was partly because we weren't delivering on interviews, so technically we weren't lying because we did interview Larry Bird.
So good.
He's always been like this.
We found out it's like his origin story is just the exact same thing except
if
younger.
that still existed, I would definitely.
I mean,
listen
it's
to it.
weird that I've leveraged that into literally a
Cameron,
career.
I can't stop thinking about how you said Jesse is always just one off. His birthday's April 2nd. His middle name was Blaine.
Yeah.
All this just folds into the same cake.
Yeah.
I feel like we're making the same cake here.
He
I'm enjoying it.
He should have been a late 80s zoo morning crew like radio host, and he would have genuinely been very happy.
Yeah.
Like, he would have really thrived in that role.
Like Johnny and the Gooch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's.
Jesse
But I feel
is
like
the
that's like an
Gooch.
extension of. I mean, it's basically a sort of a version of what I'm doing now. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Sort of.
favorite college story isn't you in college. It was your visiting for college weekend story. I don't know if Annie knows this, and I'm going to just ask for it.
Yeah,
About once every 2 years. I
Come
prod you
on.
to-
I want to hear it.
It's when he was visiting
Can this just be my
college
slice?
weekend.
This is so much more interesting.
Please tell Annie about your experience visiting that Bible college.
So Annie, I had some friends that were like going to a Bible college that when I was still in high school, and I didn't really have any intention of going there. But I just wanted. They were like, "Hey, we should come visit," but it was really strict. Like, so for campus visits, it wasn't like a normal like liberal arts college where you just stay in your friend's dorm room. Like, they had this thing where if you're going to visit, they want to recruit you. You know, this is a Bible college, and so they have like people who their whole role is to like be really friendly to these incoming visitors and, try to show them how nice it is.
Yeah.
So, but, he's got the guy that I was staying with has all these plans for us, like we're going to do all this fun stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm just kind of here to see my friends. It's not a big deal. I'm not going here. I'm just here to, and he's like, no, but I kind of blew him off, felt kind of bad about it. And he's like, well, it's really important to me. Like, I want you to have my bed tonight. They had bunk beds and he was like, I'm going to sleep on the floor and I want you to take my bunk. And he had the top bunk. Okay. And I was like, no, it's not a big deal, man. And I felt it was kind of weird because I blew the guy off all day, and he had all this stuff planned. So anyway, he's like, well, at least come back to the room. We'll get to know each other, hang out a little. Of course I don't do that. I come back super late at night and he is sleeping on the floor. Like, so I like real cautiously, like,
so you haven't hung out with him at all. This poor guy.
I don't even remember.
He thought you guys
his
were going to
name.
be sidled up all weekend. He had a whole thing.
Yeah.
He had a
You
whole
don't
thing.
remember his name, Jesse?
I don't even remember his name. And like, all I know is like, I was like, dude, don't sleep on the floor. It's not a big deal, man. Like I said, I'm just here to see my buddies. I'm just coming in to, anyway, so he's sleeping on the floor. So I'm like, well, it's weird if I just sleep on the floor too. So I'll just go to the top bunk. So Annie, I crawl up there in the middle of the night. And and I need to, I've said this before when I tell the story. I feel like it's important to emphasize that I've never once fallen out of a bed. Like, it's never occurred to me.
Just as a preface, this man has stayed in every bed he's ever been in.
It has never once happened on a normal heighted bed that I've rolled off.
As a child, when he got to switch to his big boy bed out of the crib, he stayed in the big boy bed, twin bed the whole time. He's fine.
It has never once in my life occurred to me that I am in danger of falling out of a bed. So I had no reason to think this night would be any different.
So up you go.
So I'm like, I go to sleep and I'm kind of thinking about, like, I kind of feel bad for maybe I'll talk to him in the morning and we'll settle things up, And Annie, the next time I wake up, I am literally in midair. Like, and like, it was like, like it was like dead sleep, like REM sleep, to wide awake, falling like 6 feet off the ground. And I'm telling you, he is directly beside.
No.
I landed on him, stomach to stomach, cheek to cheek. Like, you couldn't have, like, if I were to practice how well I landed on him, like, not one part of me touched the floor. Like, it was body to body. Okay? Like, I wake up in midair. I know what's going to happen, so I have a minute to, like, mentally prep. He is in dead sleep. Like, he was snoring. Okay? And all I hear is like a full-grown person falling on you in a dead sleep. He has no idea what happened. I don't even know if he knows if it's intentional or not. I mean, I have no idea.
Oh my God.
And he's like trying to catch his breath. I've clearly knocked the wind out of him. And my arm kind of hurt. So I can only imagine that he was in pain. And like, we're sitting there in silence. And like, he's just going,
oh my God.
And I just whispered in his ear, Annie. I just said, I'm sorry. And I crawled back in bed. Annie, I crawled back in bed. I went back to sleep. And when I woke up, he was gone. I've never seen him again.
You've never seen him again. We have to find this guy.
I'm sorry.
I've never seen him again. I'm sorry.
Not a piece of you touched the ground. That was my favorite part.
Gosh, that is the every 2 year telling of that story.
Body to body.
I love that so much.
It's so good, Jess.
Oh, that is as funny as it gets.
All right, what do you have, Eddie?
It's just the fact that it was mid-air wake up.
Right.
It was just like
it's a split second right before
and time starts to expand.
It's a split. You know how when they say you're in a car crash, your mind moves in slow motion and the world stops. Like, I felt like I went to like bullet time for a second. Like, I was in midair and I was like. I was like, I'm going to nail the crap out of this guy.
I'm going to really hit a dude right now. Sorry. Oh,
what do you have, Eddie?
Well, not much after that, but I will do my best. So here's what happened. So at Loyola University, which it is worth noting is a Jesuit college, they have a 2-night.
What's their college weekend policy?
Oh man, it is
Bunk beds or no bunk beds?
It is no holds barred.
I would like to go visit there, and I demand a top bunk.
Top bunks only.
And I
It's
need
like
you-
a window seat and a top bunk.
And I need you to fall asleep on the target that I've drawn on the floor, because that's exactly where I'm going to fall.
Why is the target body shaped? It's like a dead body chalk line. Just lay there,
Why is
man.
there a
Just
chalk
lay there.
outline here? Just lay there.
Yeah, just lay there. That's where you're
Just
sleeping
the-
tonight.
just the
It's nothing
pain.
creepy.
I
I
think
just
of
need
his-
you to lay in a chalk line and fall asleep with me staring at you.
The idea that y'all have told this
I know.
story multiple times
I'm a
and no one
visitor.
has tried to find this guy feels like I don't even know y'all anymore.
I feel like, call in. Just give out your phone number, Annie.
He
We'll
keeps it.
call.
He keeps it too general. I don't even know what college
I mean,
it was.
I could give details, but I don't remember his name. All I know is what school it was.
What school
I
was
don't
it?
know how you would possibly
no,
find
here's
it.
what we do. Tell us the school and tell us the year.
Yeah.
And then
And that's because let me
we can
promise
find
you
a
his-
Facebook group of people from that year that went there, and then we just asked Facebook, did anybody fall on you during a college weekend?
Listen, I
at that
promise
point-
you, he's told this story a bunch of times too.
He's like, I'm just sleeping. This guy that completely ghosted me for a whole day.
He's the rudest guy ever.
Next thing I know, I'm in a huge amount of pain, and he's on top of me.
I
And-
broke 3 ribs that night.
Okay, what school?
Okay,
What school,
it was
Jesse?
called Elam Bible Institute, and I'm pretty sure the year was 2000.
All right.
Okay,
I'm pretty
all
sure
right.
it was the year 2000.
What city
and I
is that
think,
school
I
in?
don't know if this helps. I don't know if this helps, but I think the one other thing that I remember about him, I'm sure it won't help. I think he owned an American flag windbreaker. Like, I think he had a windbreaker jacket. And I think I remember because I was like, man, if that windbreaker was slightly different, it'd be like a cool Evil Knievel jacket. But the way it's designed is actually very uncool.
That is a
Like,
great
that was my
listen.
remember of that.
Have y'all listened to Up and Vanish? Those little clues are the breakers. That's what we needed.
Yeah.
Somebody
So-
knows the guy with the American flag wind jacket.
Somebody right now listening to the show just went like, I know him. That's my
That's what
brother.
I'm dying to have
It's
happen.
Danny from
Yeah.
Elam.
Yeah, we'll get a hold of him.
What
okay.
city is that school in, Jesse?
Elam Bible
It's-
Institute is, I'm on their website right now. It's elim.edu.
It's near Rochester.
In Rochester, New York.
Come on, Rochester.
There's
We
a
need
click-
you.
there's a link
2000.
in the
Blink
footer.
back 18 years.
There's a link in the footer. Visit the campus. So
We'd love to
So
give you
they're
our
still
bed.
doing campus visits. We know that. So that's another, link in the mystery.
There is a pretty strict no top bunk policy, though. Yeah.
I just wish you remembered his first name.
They're a
I mean, we're
one-bunk
going to find this
school
guy.
now.
I'm
there's-
not letting go of this.
No, there's no chance that
they
he's
say
not the
we
guest of
are
the
a
week
dry
next week.
campus and we are a one bunk school. Those are hard and fast policies.
One bunk school. So Loyola University is a Jesuit college, and they have this 2-night show, this Colossus show. And if anybody has seen this year of Crashing, they did a whole episode where Pete Holmes basically is trying to break into the college circuit because there is, I guess, this like I mean, you know, colleges are always bringing comedians, and there's this kind
activities.
of and different kind of stuff. So, like, I went to the University of Florida.
Biker Fox shows at halftime of intramurals games. We got you.
Right. So there's comedians
biker
coming,
stunts.
but it's also a big thing for comedians because they get on this college tour.
Unauthorized bike stunts.
They get on this college circuit, and you know they can do pretty well on it. It's a lot of travel, but they
that's how Pete made it in real life.
right? But they also bring in like not just up and coming comedians; they bring in big comedians. This past week, Loyola had Hannibal Buress, who is just an incredible comedian. Does a lot of really smart, edgy comedy. He broke the whole Bill Cosby story. I've actually never
He brought it back up. I mean, it was like,
yeah. He kind of-
the whole bit was, how come nobody's talking
That's
about
right.
this?
He brought it back into the consciousness.
Right.
That's right. It's not like he was a
And,
journalist.
and as Jesse learned when interviewing Hannibal Buress, don't talk to him about that.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, well, you didn't know about this?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't, or I missed the article or whatever. I don't even know.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like I knew going in. I remember at the time, I think Jeremiah was in the studio helping, recording it. But like, I knew going in, like it was just a thing. Like, do not talk to him about Cosby. He has a really conflicted relationship with that, with the repercussions.
Because
of that.
Cosby's
Like,
a
he's-
hero, and he basically brought down black people's comedic hero.
Well, yeah, a lot of
and
people's
so he has a
comedic hero.
conflicted, thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he prefers that it just not be discussed. And the other thing too is at the time that happened, his career was really taking off, and all of a sudden he kind of got labeled as the Cosby guy, and he wanted to, he didn't want that to be something that he's like known for. So anyway, I knew that going into the interview, and I felt like we had got to a point into the discussion where we were talking about like South Park and the Daily Show and the ability for comedy to make social change. And I brought it up, which I felt like was a natural point to bring it up. And literally, I think I told the story before, literally, he just starts breathing really heavily, like into the mic.
Wow.
Like, and then I ask again, and he goes, "Move on." And his whole demeanor changed. And I was like, oh, well, it's very similar to what happened. He goes, I said, move on. And it basically ended the interview. Like,
wow.
He just did not want to talk about it. Yeah.
Well, kind of a strangely similar thing happened. It's not him, though, that kind of shut things down. He brought up in his stand-up act that Loyola had apparently given him an agreement to which they said they both signed. But in this agreement, they said that he would not talk about, that he was not to participate in any sort of talk about like anything sexual. Let's see. Yeah. He couldn't talk about race, and he couldn't talk about sexual assault as a part of his stand-up act. So as a part of his stand-up act, he goes kind of meta, and he starts talking about this agreement, at which point at a Jesuit school, he begins to make jokes / commentary about the priest sexual abuse situation.
Oh, wow.
At which point they shut off his mic and turn on the background music and shut him down. So
wow.
Somebody in the audience says, we thought there was going to be a riot because he is still trying to yell and do his bit. And they are drowned. He is being drowned out by the crowd, who is both in favor of him and very much not in favor of this. And he is just basically bucking the entire system. He leaves the stage for 15 minutes and people are just not like full on rioting, but they're not just going to move on from this. He comes back out.
And the background music, by the way, On the Way to Heaven.
Such a good song.
They're trying to quell the crowd with the sweet baritone voice of Dennis Quaid, and it is backfiring. It's enraging people.
What they didn't know, it was actually Dennis Quaid. He was just there at the sound booth playing the song.
It was live.
They're like, Dennis, help us out here. He's like, I got this.
What happened?
So he comes out 15 minutes later.
Yeah, he came back out.
They come back out 15 minutes later. Now, what's not in the article is what happened in that 15 minutes, because it's pretty clear that there was some pretty heated discussion.
Yes, he would have asked.
He comes out 15 minutes later. The crowd goes nuts. So happy to see him. They turn on the mic. He finishes his set, and he does basically the rest of the set about getting his mic turned off, but he does not talk about, for the rest of the comedy set, anything sexual abuse, anything about priests or any of that. So he said, and Loyola said, he stayed within the parameters of the contract, to which they replied later. The school replied later. They said, every comedian we ever bring on campus has to sign one of these. This wasn't special for Hannibal Buress. We all have them sign. Basically, it's not like a non-disclosure, but it's just a contract saying, like, here are the things we won't talk about. And he took that to task. And I brought it up because it's an interesting, because I'm a little bit conflicted by it, because part of me is like, well, okay, they're allowed to do this. They're a private institution. They don't want this brought up. They don't want their students exposed to this. But also, if you've seen even a second of Hannibal Buress's comedy,
why bring him in?
He's not the guy that's going to do that. He is the guy that, and beyond just Cosby, he is going to, his shows are really funny and just really full of thoughtful commentary. And you leave having laughed and also thinking about a lot. Why would they bring him in and expect him not to do exactly what he just did? It feels silly. And also it brings up to me the role of, I'm sorry, I know I'm throwing out a lot, but the role of satire and comedy, like, wasn't that possibly, I mean, since he was doing it, like, don't shut him off. Don't, like, take away his voice. You invited him there, and he's doing exactly what you thought he was going to do.
You invited him, but he signed, I mean, there are churches when I go and speak that absolutely I cannot talk about alcohol. And it's my choice. When I see that, I can either say, well, then I can't speak on your stage, or I'm going to speak on your stage under the rules of your house.
Which I totally get.
Right? And so that's kind of the artist's, I think that's a little bit of the artist's responsibility of, like, if you're going to sign this thing and agree to it, be a person of your word.
All right, that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, N.T. Wright joins us.
I'm a ride it till it's over. I'm a ride it till it's over. till it's over. I'ma ride it. I'ma ride it till it's over. I'ma ride.
You're listening to Anderson .Paak. The song is Till It's Over. Love him. Well, this week's show is brought to you by Blue Apron, the leading meal kit delivery service in the U.S. While many people know what Blue Apron does, many don't know about the types of meals you eat when you cook with Blue Apron, like quick bucatini with broccoli and pecorino cheese and Italian-style shrimp and sweet pepper. With incredible ingredients and chef-designed recipes, Blue Apron lets you see what the power of food can do. Jesse, I know you're a big Blue Apron fan.
I am, and it's turned me, because I got to be honest, the whole meal kit, like the delivery idea, I wasn't a believer, because I'm like, I am terrible at all things that deal with food. And again, the simplicity is like even I can take these ingredients and turn it into a meal. And the other thing too is my expectations were so off. Like I was thinking maybe it's because I've spent so much time eating frozen food that these will just be these little the most sophisticated thing I make is the cup of noodles that has the noodles itself, and it has the packet of dry stuff and sauce. So I was picturing pre-packaged kind of gross stuff. You just put this is fresh stuff. There's vegetables and meats and pasta, and it's you're not making some TV dinner. You're making a real deal meal. And I'm gonna feel, hey guys, I felt pretty proud of myself. I had a lot of confidence after that.
Cameron,
Probably too
I miss
much,
you and Cohen cooking on Insta Story. It's been part of the sadness of you moving.
I cooked last night for the first time. Literally last night. There you go. So I'm back. Got a big box yesterday.
Great. It is the only time, FYI, that I would ever eat anything Jesse cooks. Because if I come over and he's just riding on an off day, I'm not going to eat that.
Yeah, that's probably a good move.
Blue Apron offers 12 new recipes each week, and customers can pick 2, 3, or 4 recipes based on what best fits their schedule. They also send only non-GMO ingredients and meat with no added hormones. Blue Apron is treating Relevant Podcast listeners to $30 off your first order if you visit blueapron.com/relevant. So check out this week's menu and get your $30 off at blueapron.com/relevant. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. N.T. Wright is one of the world's most prominent theologians and Christian academics. He's a retired Anglican bishop, and during his career has taught at universities and seminaries, including Oxford, St. Mary's College, McGill, and others. In his new book, Paul, a Biography, he looks at why many modern Christians have gotten a lot wrong about one of the New Testament's most famous figures. Here is Andre Henry's conversation with N.T. Wright.
You have written so much about Paul and are considered by some to be an expert on what's called the new perspective on Paul. And a lot of people may not be familiar with that conversation. And I wondered if this book is a part of that conversation.
Well, in a sense, the book outflanks that conversation because the question of new perspectives, old perspectives, is very much a modern scholarly thing, and the real thing is to get back and find Paul himself, and that's the task of history and the task of biography. And in a sense, what the biography is trying to do is so to get inside the life story of Paul from his early days as a zealous young Jew through to his Christian apostleship, etc., that we actually understand the multi-layered nature of what the gospel meant for him and how it worked out and what the controversies were in the different churches. And that, I hope, should be able to hold together the things that sometimes appear polarized in scholarship. Let me just say very clearly as well, there is no one thing called the new perspective. People sometimes write as though there was, but actually that's a range of quite different scholarly emphases in the 1970s and 80s, particularly with Ed Sanders and Jimmy Dunn and myself and Richard Hayes. And this was never a movement. We never kind of met together as a group and said, now how are we going to do this or that? In fact, there are very sharp disagreements between myself and Dunn and Sanders, and in some cases Hayes as well. So it's no one single thing. The main thing about the different varieties of New Perspective was that they were all trying to understand Paul's Jewish world as it really was, and Paul's own perspective within that Jewish world, and then how the gospel impacted on that, and very much aware that until comparatively recently, people could get away with rank caricatures of the first century Jewish world, which really don't have any basis in history. And so it was an attempt to say, hang on, we've actually got this a bit wrong. People then take fright when they hear people like me saying things differently from what they expected. And so there's been an inevitable reaction. But I'm hoping that both my larger scholarly works and then this biography will actually put paid to quite a bit of that. So that's about as briefly as I can do it, I think.
So the name of the book is Paul, a Biography, which is a surprising genre from you. And I wondered, what were some of the challenges in approaching Paul as a biographer rather than just as a biblical scholar or theologian?
And it's very interesting. I just recently read a kind of a biopic novel about H.G. Wells by the English writer David Lodge. And he says at the beginning that everything in this book is based on the actual historical evidence and actual quotations from H.G. Wells's work, but that because he's writing a novel, he has filled in the gaps in between where we don't actually know what happened between A and B, but he's filled it in as best he can. And I thought, well, in a way, that's rather like what I did with Paul, except that with Paul I was very cautious about, I didn't invent too many conversations and that sort of thing, but it was a way of trying to go beyond simply the bare evidence that we've got in the letters and Acts and say, okay, so he and Barnabas are going up to Jerusalem for this discussion in Acts 15. What are they thinking? From everything we know about them before, from everything we know about them afterwards, what sort of lines are they taking? How are they actually wrestling with this one between themselves? And all sorts of situations like that, where the biographer quite rightly has to probe and say, so what are the motivations? What's actually going on here? And then granted this other person's motivations, how does that clash or meet or whatever? And so there are many places where it was really very interesting for me to have to think into. For instance, after Paul goes back to Tarsus, after his conversion and his early experience in Damascus and then in Jerusalem, they send him back to Tarsus where he grew up, and he's there for 10 years, and we know absolutely nothing historically about those 10 years. However, we know that was where he grew up. We know what Jewish communities in the diaspora were like. We know how they worked, so we can have a pretty good idea of his home, of the kind of tensions that there will have been, of the possibility that he had early been betrothed to a Jewish girl, and then either he married her and she died, or she refused to marry him, or something. We just don't know. But those are things which the biographer has to raise as questions, even though making it clear that we can't actually know the answer. But that really helped me then when it comes back to Paul's later relationships with Jews who do believe in Jesus and Jews who don't believe in Jesus. Having thought my way into Paul's home life, you actually get a sense of three dimensions about when Paul says, my kinsfolk according to the flesh. These are people he knows and loves. These are people whose voices still ring in his head and whose faces he can see in his mind's eye. And so I was trying throughout to bring Paul up as a three-dimensional character so that when we then meet him in his writings, it's not just, oh, here's a book by somebody called Paul, but, oh my goodness, yes, now, of course, this is what he wants to say to the Corinthians at this point, etc., etc. So it was the attempt to get the real flesh and blood man back up and running.
Okay, so I have to ask this question because so many people do not like Paul. Why do you think that is?
Yeah. I think, I mean, I've known plenty of people who thought that Paul was either dislikable or was actually wicked or whatever. Again and again, they just haven't understood him. They haven't got inside his skin. They haven't understood what was going on. What's happened again and again is that Paul has been used by some dogmatic teachers in the church to say, here is what Paul said, and we're going to beat you up with it, and you've just got to shape up and come into line. People who like that kind of dogmatism have said, oh dear, what a terrible man he sounds. And in fact, when you get to know him, I mean, you have to face the fact that Paul is the one who writes that amazing poem about love to the Corinthians. And you can be quite sure that somebody who writes a poem like that is not likely then to face the Corinthians coming back and saying, well, that's all very well, Paul, we wish you were like that, and what a pity you aren't. And when he says to the Thessalonians that I was gentle among you like a taking care of her children, we can be quite sure that they wouldn't have thrown that back in his face and said, absolutely not, what world are you living in, you were just a bully or whatever. And then in Acts, when Paul is giving his farewell speech to the elders from Ephesus, it says that when he told them that he would never see them again, they were all in tears. You know, this is a man who inspired enormous affection and love and admiration. And yes, as a friend, he was undoubtedly high maintenance friend, but he was a high value friend. You know, you'd be on your toes when you were around with him. He wouldn't be a relaxing person to be with, but he would be a wonderful companion and a very generous hearted and warm hearted man.
That was N.T. Wright. Make sure to check out his new book, Paul, a Biography. And actually, there's a different conversation and a different look at that work in the current issue of Relevant. Go check it out.
Yeah, I cannot wait to walk over to Andre's desk and steal that book.
Listening to Sade, playing on the radio, sipping on your latte, drawing on your window. You feel like second nature, read it in your eyes. I don't need it down on paper. I got you memorized. I got you memorized.
You're listening to Matt Carney and RAC. The song is Memorized. Passion Music serves as the worship ministry for Passion City Church in Atlanta and will soon be going out on tour with speakers including Louis Giglio and Levi Lusko.
Neat.
Christian Stanfill, Brett Yonker, and Melody Malone from the group recently gave us a behind-the-scenes look at some of the album's most memorable songs. Here is Passion Music.
Whole Heart is this song really went on a pretty big journey from the time that we originally started writing that, probably last May. But the initial idea is still kind of forefront, which is the idea that, you know, God gives his love without any condition, you know, and it's a powerful thought to think that God would initiate having a relationship with every single one of us, whether or not we decide to be a part of that relationship or not. And so that's what that line in the chorus, you know, says, your love, it comes with no conditions. You gave us your whole heart. And for us, he gave us Jesus, you know, the one son that he loved. And so just wanting this to have a song about that, about how God loves us and has pursued us and, you know, has good things intended for our lives. And so, you know, this song, it was just really cool just to see how the song began to open up and really up until the final hour, literally the final hour. I think we were all learning it the day of the conference.
On stage, the first time we ever played it in the form you hear it was on stage before the first session in rehearsal. So we were working on it right up to the edge.
Because we love
really was one of those people. The first time that I heard the song, I really had issues with it. Like, that was my response. I was like, wait, can we actually say this? Like, is that the proper word to use here? You know, I was like, I love every other part of the song, but is that word what we want to say here? You know, because this was written by Corey Asbury and a couple other guys, and it's really awesome. But I did have to spend some time wrestling with that. And then really what it comes down to is we're not, you know, the song is not saying that God is reckless. It's just saying when you look at his love for us and how we typically picture love, it does seem kind of reckless, because you're thinking, you know, the whole story about leaving the 99 to go and find the one. I think in human terms and in human perspective, that does seem somewhat reckless, you know, because you're thinking, well, what about the 99? But that just goes to show how much God loves us, that he's going to leave the 99 to go and find the one, because we're all the one. In reality, we're all the ones that need to find him. And so I think what resonates really with that song is that so much of the time, even it goes back, you know, to what even Brett was saying about whole heart, about a love with no conditions. It's we can never earn this love that God has for us. And we, like the song says, we don't deserve it. And that's not something we're used to. We're used to people loving us because of, you know, what we can do for them, or because, you know, we're a great hang, or, you know, just everywhere you look, I think in society, it's all about what I can do for you and what you can do for me. And that's why we might love each other. But this whole idea that God's love, it's going to chase us down, it's going to come after us. That's not a way we're used to being loved. And I think that just shows really what we're all hungry for, is this love of God. And that's what we were created for. We were created to be loved by God and to love him. And so I think that's why it ultimately resonates with people. It's because there's this thing that we've all been searching for that you can't put a name on. And really and truly, we found that that's God's love and loving him and his love for us.
We've talked a lot around here at our church that, you know, Psalm 149 says this, that worship is a weapon, and it's like a sword in our mouth, and it extinguishes the flames of the attacks of the enemy. And so, you know, in singing all these songs, you know, we love the whole diet of worship songs. You know, there's all kinds, like Christian was saying, there's all kinds of songs to sing, and Hallelujah, Our God Reigns it's just a song that we want to put in the mix of saying, you know, God is worthy of worship just because he's God. You know, that he is intrinsically great because of who he is. And so I've always resonated with this word, hallelujah. You know, it's such a beautiful word. It can be sung in any language and people know what you're talking about. It just simply means praise the Lord. And I like singing this song because it's one that you really can sing in any moment in life, but you can sing it from a place of victory, from what Jesus has done. So, you know, you might be in a really tough time or you could be on the mountaintop, but you can make this declaration that, you know, God is worthy of praise because he is high above, he is holy, he's majestic, he's reigning over it all. And so that was a little bit of that. And you know, and in that song, there's this invitation, you know, it says, all that has breath come praise the Lord. And that's our heart, you know, for Passion. You know, this is what we're doing. This is why we're trying to hold up the story of Jesus everywhere we go. We're just trying to invite as many people as possible to come be a part of the song of God.
this with Brooke and Scott Lidgertwood. They're out in LA. They're part of Hillsong Church, and they're great friends. And I think writing this song was just as transformational for me as it is to lead it. I mean, even just writing the song was such a personal thing for all of us. It was really hitting all of us and coming at different angles, and it was really, really special just writing it. Leading it, especially at Passion. Passion is, in so many ways, Passion is such a transformational moment for these students and for us that are leading the way. And we meet with Jesus in such a powerful way in the days of Passion. And so to have a song that can really just say out loud almost what is happening in the room is really, really cool. But I've loved leading it. It really started, Brett had this prayer, make me more like Jesus. And that's really where the song started and kind of bloomed out from there. So it's cool. It does call like a real sense of desperation in the room. Like when you do lead this song, that bridge, it changed me like only you can. It's such a desperate lyric to sing, and you really have to be in a pretty hungry place to sing that and mean it. It's pretty cool.
That was Passion Music. Go check out their new album, Whole Heart. It's out now.
Let's forget all the things that's causing us trouble. Let's pretend that everything is brand new again.
In his new book, There Is More, Hillsong's founder and global senior pastor, Brian Houston, shows how the more you're looking for doesn't come from more stuff, more money, or more self-fulfillment. It only comes through discovering more of God and His plan and purpose for your life. Learn how to overcome this world's uncertainties and life's limitations and move your dreams from wishful thinking to genuine reality. No matter your triumphs or failures, God has more grace and favor waiting in your future. So maximize the abundant potential of your life. Discover the more God has for you. There Is More by Brian Houston. Available wherever books are sold.
You on my side.
You're listening to Ferns. The song is Life is Easy. Okay, it's time for your feedback. Before we get into feedback, we're still rolling with our mostly regular new segment, the Relevant Podcast Listener of the Week.
You listen to the show, and it's time to get to know you. It's the Listener of the Week.
I think we were doing it a solid 60% clip.
Yeah, and every time they're really good, so that gives us bigger points when we do it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the anticipation is real. This week, our guest is going to be Ian Clark, our Listener of the Week. And Jesse, before we bring him on, why don't you tell us the 3 facts about Ian Clark that caught your eye?
Okay, so here are 3 facts. So this one's pretty interesting. I mean, I think it'll lead to some conversation. He's moved 23 times in his life. Okay,
wow.
I'm in.
Okay,
I'm in.
Ian.
I was accidentally given 2 middle names. I want to know how an accident like that happens, because I feel like paperwork at birth certificates are pretty, I feel like that would be difficult to do. And Ian has died and come back to life. What?
Oh, okay, here we go. Welcome to the podcast, Ian Clark.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. And Annie F. Down.
Annie F. Down. Where are you? Where are you calling us from?
I live in Illinois.
Illinois.
What are you doing out there in Illinois?
Keeping it vague. There's a lot of mafia out there.
What are you doing out there in Illinois?
Well, it's very boring. I work for a very large manufacturing company.
Oh,
do you guys manufacture?
What do you make?
Cool?
Hit the nail on the head.
Large equipment.
Large equipment.
Boy, are you being shady about yourself?
Yeah, I think it's a fun.
I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot
This is so good.
Making large equipment.
Yeah, I've seen enough mafia movies, gangster movies from Chicago.
Yeah, that's right. That is right.
Do you have any sort of family there? You live around like your brothers and sisters?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm married with 2 wonderful children.
Oh my.
I've been listening to Relevant since I was a target demographic age.
But sadly, he has 5 kids. Only 2 of them are wonderful. That's what's sad.
Oh my gosh.
Some of the kids are
Ian,
great.
is
Ian,
one of
tell-
your benefits of working at a manufacturing that does quote unquote large equipment? Do you get to take it home and play with it ever? Because that'd be pretty cool.
I don't. I do not, but it would be super cool. It's mining equipment. So
mining equipment, that would be awesome. Like to drive on one of those big like drills that you can drive, like that have 4 wheels that I see in the movies. That'd be pretty cool. Ian, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened at this mining manufacturing plant? I gotta know. What are you guys covering up?
Yeah, get real with us.
Well, see, like I said, I have a very boring job. I work in the engineering design department, so there's not a lot of excitement going on where I work. I'm sure there's plenty of stories out there.
Yeah, I don't believe Ian for a second, you guys.
Yeah.
He's talking just like Jason Bourne talks.
Hey, Jesse, why don't you go down these 3 facts with him, and let's get some deets.
Okay, Ian, let's start off with, a little icebreaker. You moved 23 times, so 2 questions with that. Why did you move 23 times in your life, and what's the best place and the worst place that you've lived?
And what are you running from?
Okay.
What are you running to, and what are you running from?
And what mining company did you cross?
That's my problem is I keep changing jobs. So one of the reasons why I've moved so many times is like every few years I switch positions and I get transferred. My father was this similar way, but my wife really likes to redo homes. So it seems like every 2 years we move. Now we've settled down, but at one point we owned 3 homes in 13 months.
Wow.
So
what's the best place you've lived? But also more interestingly, what's the worst place? Best and worst.
Yes. Worst place. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to name a town, Rockford, Illinois.
Oh yeah.
I got transferred. I moved ahead of my wife. She was very pregnant. So without her help, I had to pick a place to live. I found a house for rent in a not so very nice neighborhood next to a family that had cockfights in their backyard.
Now that's a plus.
That was very bad.
That's
Free eggs.
cool.
Something to do on the weekend.
That's actually
Entertainment, yeah.
free entertainment.
I mean, they're so good at
get the
fighting.
neighborhood rallying around.
Put spikes on the road.
I had to stay in Rockford, Illinois once on my way to Cornerstone Festival, which is in rural Illinois, and we stayed in the metropolis of Rockford on the way.
Hotbed of activity.
Yeah.
All right. And what's the best place you've ever lived?
Where I live right now. I live in a over 100-year-old house. I'm talking right now from my attic, which has been redone into like a studio, fun like entertainment room. So I think we're done. You know, I'm 40 years old now.
Yeah,
I'm settling in.
I feel you.
You know, we're done.
You still have cockfights up there?
Let me ask this, Ian. 100-year-old house. Sorry, Eddie. I'm going to get to something really important. 100-year-old house. Over under 10 ghosts.
Yeah.
Over under. We know it's haunted.
My wife would give you a different answer. I'm the most unsensitive person to that realm of existence. I know Eddie's had a lot of ghosts in his house, so maybe if he was here, he could do some.
And in my closet.
Kind of. Yes. I think the other shoe is here.
Yeah.
Your wife did actually tell us that you're a very unsensitive person, but she wasn't talking about ghosts. She was just talking about.
Wait, so how many would your wife say are in the house?
Hi-yo.
Well, she would say there's at least one.
Oh,
really?
So, yeah, and actually the family before us named it Molly.
Oh.
Nope.
I feel like naming it makes it literally 100 times creepier. Like, I would rather have 10.
100
Here's my theory about ghosts and 100-year-old houses, and then we'll move on to your fact. I would rather have 10 unnamed ghosts than one ghost that I've named Molly. Like, that's so much more terrifying. I'd rather have a full-on ghost infestation than one called Molly. For some reason, that's incredibly unsettling. Okay, I want to move on to you were accidentally given 2 middle names. How does that happen, Ian? And what are the 2 middle names?
So my middle name at birth was Timothy. That's my father's first name. So it's Ian Timothy Clark. Now, my father's name is Timothy Charles Clark. So when I was little and I would get yelled at, you know, would your parents say your full name? Well, everybody used to saying Timothy Charles Clark. So I ended up being called Ian Timothy Charles Clark. So that's the accident. I actually got it on my driver's license, but I don't have it on my birth certificate.
What name is shouted more in your home? Ian, Timothy, Charles, Clark, or just someone screaming Molly? Which one is more common in your home?
Molly by far.
Okay, so
gosh.
Ian, finally, I feel like this is by far the most interesting fact. You have died and come back to life. We got to know the story.
Is one of your middle names Molly?
And
Were,
is Molly
were you
involved?
once named Molly?
Yes, I'm calling you from behind the veil. No. So when I was 32 years old, I was getting ready for a race down in Southern Illinois. I had always been like a sub 8-minute mile kind of guy. And all of a sudden, I couldn't break 10 minutes. And then it got worked 12 minutes. It was like, oh, something's wrong with me. So I went, got it checked out. They couldn't find anything. I was trying to get in one extra race over the week. And over the lunch hour, I got about 1.25 miles into my run, and I collapsed of sudden arrest. I was found by a neighbor. So it gets kind of crazy here. I was found by someone that came home from lunch. I had passed out on the curb of the street. They thought, what was this crazy guy doing laying on the ground? But I was
Hilarious.
purple, they tell me. I'm sorry?
Just hilarious. Look at this guy.
And that neighbor's name was Molly.
Molly.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you interrupt a cockfight? Is that what happened? Like, hey, there's a guy laying outside the cockfight over here.
Well, it's crazy because he was coming home to let his dog out, and he had just got his dog. He hadn't been home for lunch. And he's told me in over 10 years. So this is the first time he came home for lunch in 10 years. Found me in the curb. There was a nurse across a couple blocks away that was eating lunch at a park. He held her down. She came over and started doing CPR. And then the squad car was within the neighborhood. They happened to have an AED, so they would try to use that. The ambulance came. They thought they did say I was dead. They never gave up compressions though. So they were able to continue to do CPR until the squad car was able to use the AED to try to resuscitate me. There's a lot of other crazy things about where people and places where everything just kind of like miraculously came together. I call it a series of fortunate events.
Yeah.
So I was in the hospital.
Do you remember anything from when you were dead?
Yeah.
No, that's a crazy thing. So my wife, who is, I would say, the opposite of me, she talks about the spiritual battles, and she believes that there was a lot of things at work, but I have zero memory. There's 10 days of my life that's gone.
10 days.
Wow.
Gosh.
Ian, I'm kind of disappointed when this happened, and I'm glad you fully recovered, and I can
I'm glad you're
tell
back.
a joke. But I'm kind of disappointed that when you went over to the other side, that your experience wasn't you met someone named Molly who said, I need you to buy my house and convert the attic to a delightful office.
Yes, exactly.
Do you still run?
I do. Matter of fact, I actually, like you, Eddie, I'm an old man who's trying CrossFit.
That is helpful.
So I'm doing that, but
Eddie doesn't try that anymore.
No, I'm out.
Like most CrossFit people, he gave it a solid month and a half.
Yeah, and my body began to fall apart, and I thought, hey, I hate this. I'm not going to end up like Ian.
I don't want to die.
Who among us has truly lived, Ian? That's what I'm doing, pal.
That sounds good to me.
I love you, dude.
Yep. Hey, I love you guys.
Ian, how long have you listened to the podcast?
I'm one of the old, like I said, I've been listening since I was a target age demographic. So I am back maybe the first couple dozen when you guys first started.
Wow. 2005. Wow.
Yep. I think I
was
in
a listener back then too,
Cameron.
guys.
Matter of fact, yeah, I've never gone back and listened to the ones I missed though.
Don't do it. I haven't either. I haven't either, but I've heard they're really, really awful.
I've listened to them.
I have listened to all of them, and it was like watching the old Simpsons episode
very
where we're on
interesting.
Tracy Ullman. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Hi, I'm Cameron Strang. Hello, welcome to a podcast. I am with
This
Jesse
is the
Gary.
best cast ever. So why would you go back and listen?
That's what we're here.
This is the golden era.
That's what we're here.
Yeah, this is the golden era.
The platinum era.
Platinum era. That's right. Dude, thanks for listening for so long, and I'm glad you're alive.
Glad you're alive
again.
too, Ian.
It's good. Thanks for
you,
being
guys.
our listener of the week.
Bye, Ian. It was nice meeting you.
It was nice meeting you guys. I feel like I know you.
Oh, you're so
Yeah, that's
kind.
right. We're friends. I just feel real sentimental about Ian that he's
I
alive.
know. He like kind of almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like our podcast saved him. I mean, he was listening.
He didn't say that particularly.
He didn't say it, but the implication is he's a fan.
Did it save him or did it kill him, Jesse?
Now that's a fair question. Yeah, he was saying that there were a lot of factors, and I didn't want to make it about me.
I didn't want to.
Keep going.
I know what he was saying,
but it was sort of
the power of our podcast. Actually, brought him back to life. It's pretty cool. It's a cool thing about us.
Yeah.
I really appreciate being on, but I kind of feel like with your story that we're the listener of the week, and I loved it.
Yeah, I love the way it made me feel about myself.
That's
wow.
I feel like I saved a man's life today.
We're the heroes. We saved a guy. We saved a guy.
All right, it's time for your feedback.
Thank Daddy for that.
Last week, our question of the week, we asked you, what is your favorite conspiracy theory? We've known forever, if you've been listening, that Jesse's into conspiracy theories, but we learned that Annie F. Downs is into them as well.
Weirdly.
So we want to know your favorites. You guys hit us up on Twitter and posted on the podcast episode page. Here are some of our favorites.
Okay, so the one that I got in my email, sent to me in direct messages, and they posted on the relevant podcast page, is about this Twitter thing. Have y'all seen this? The phone number?
No.
And Jesse, did you see this one?
No. No, I don't know. Clarify.
Okay, so sorry, yeah, you're right. So a guy got a voicemail, and it was this big long paragraph, and if you take the first letter of every word he said, it says, danger, SOS. It is dire for you to evacuate. Be cautious. They are not human. SOS, danger, SOS. And so then this thing just keeps going. And the guy has ended up, he shared all this on Twitter, the guy who got all these messages, but there was something about solar flares. And they think that communication came from when they traced where the solar flares and where this voicemail came from. It's very complicated, but it came from that Malaysian airplane that crashed a few years ago. And they think that it was a message from the Malaysian airplane about aliens. Jesse, you haven't seen any of this?
What?
No, but what's crazy is I'm looking at this now, and that person has since deleted all of their tweets since this came out.
Yes, because they got one of the messages they got in like perfect Malaysian language was delete what you just tweeted. I mean, like crazy stuff. That is like a serious, if people want to lose an hour to 90 minutes of their life like I did yesterday, then they need to go read all of this because
if people want to actually lose their life, they should go out on a nice midday run.
Listening to us.
In the summer heat. Yeah.
If they want to come back from the brink, we're basically, again, I feel like
Ian's words, not ours, but we saved his life.
That's right.
Yeah. And we're saving, I don't know how many people, that aren't as, maybe a little more shy than Ian, that aren't going to come out and say that I died multiple times in the relevant podcast brought me back. So I think it's legions of people have been saved.
What happened for Ian is he was being pulled down that tunnel, up the tunnel, right? He was about halfway up. He's listening to Jesse telling his story about falling off the bunk bed. He's like, I really want to hear the end of this. Yep. And so he kind of like goes back and the tractor beam like pushes him back into his body.
I think a little piece of me dies every week here on the podcast.
Wait till you've been on the show for like 5 years. You don't even care about the humans anymore. You're just like, oh, whatever. It's all just animals. All right. So Cody Murphy from Liberty School of Law, by the way. Good job, Cody. His theory falls apart pretty quickly, but I am 100% on board. In law school, we learned that most of the Fortune 500 companies are incorporated in Delaware, of all places. Right. The joke came from the little tidbit that became that Delaware does not actually exist, but it is a myth propagated by the corporations to evade taxes. I mean, all we really know about the state is that that's where Joe Biden comes from. Sounds like a myth to me. So Cody spent the summer in D.C. and he said, I spent the summer working in D.C. a couple of years ago and as a joke decided to do a little late night investigation to see if this corporate myth was real. It was only about 80 miles away from D.C. and there I was at a beach I wanted to check out in Maryland. In the meantime, I finally got to where they claimed to be Dover, the state capital. And what does he find? 250 people playing Pokemon Go. Chandler, you love that game, in front of the state capitol at midnight. Not believing what I saw, I just turned around and just went back to D.C. That was the day I became a Delaware truther because so many people playing Pokemon Go that late at night had to set me off on some sort of conspiracy. It doesn't make sense, and I don't believe it, but 100% Delaware isn't real.
Apparently, I got to move to Delaware. That's where everyone's playing Pokemon.
That's the hotbed. You wouldn't believe how many Pokemon gyms.
Delaware, it takes a while for the trends and stuff to get to Delaware.
Right. So it just
they're
came
just
out.
now.
Yeah.
You're
They're
learning
just
about
starting.
Pokemon Go.
How are you doing, Chandler, on Pokemon Go, by the way?
I'm the highest level.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have nothing to say. I want to know how much of your life was invested into that, and is that Chandler? If you were to rank your greatest accomplishment as a human up to now, where does that fall?
That'd probably be in the top 3.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You're absolutely.
I still play every
You have
day.
so much life.
Every day.
Every day.
Absolutely.
You're the only person I know.
You are such a consistent person, right? All the rest of us are like, oh, okay, I'm walking around with my phone and next trend. You are still...
You still play every day?
Every day.
That's a conspiracy theory to me.
Well, there's a lot more where that came from. You can head over to our Twitter account and check them out yourself. Okay, it's time for this week's
Editorial question of the week. Hey.
Oh, well, earlier in the show, we got talking about colleges and then veered it toward Jesse's Christian college experience.
Yes.
And college weekend, which is kind of Christian high school experience. Got us thinking, we want to know your craziest or funniest or most memorable Christian education experiences.
I went to a public high school and then to the University of Florida, and I will tell you...
You cannot participate in this week's feedback.
I cannot wait to read how the other half lived.
You as much.
Yes, I had to...
No, listen, this is like a support group. We need to share our experiences. You know, have you seen those memes of we all had one childhood, just different locations? I think all of us who went to Christian schools had one experience, just different locations.
Yeah.
Just one massive season of oppression.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast or post your stories, your lengthier ones, on the podcast episode page at relevantmagazine.com. We'll read our favorites next week.
I cannot wait to read these.
Me too. I'm so excited.
Craziest Christian school experiences. Well, many thanks to the show's sponsors for making this episode possible. Remember, Samaritan Ministries, you can learn more about how you can be a part of a community of Christians helping each other with healthcare by visiting SamaritanMinistries.org. Also, thanks to Blue Apron, you can get $30 off your first order by visiting blueapron.com/relevant. Also, thanks to our guests for joining us this week. N.T. Wright's new book, Paul, a Biography, is out now. You can also follow him on Twitter at Prof. N.T. Wright. Also, thanks to Passion Music. You can follow them on Twitter at Passion Music, and their new album, Whole Heart, which is about murmurs, is out now.
The Ian Thomas, Jonathan Clark, Molly story.
You think Molly is going to start following us on Twitter?
No question.
It's not a fake account. It's like
there's no question Molly's about to get on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, she's been on since the early 1800s.
Yeah.
It is
on Twitter.
We didn't ask enough questions about Molly, like where she lives in the house and
let's
how
have her
old
on.
she is.
Yeah, we'll have her on next week.
Hey, big news from the Relevant Podcast Network. We've had a few new shows drop here these past couple of weeks. The new season of The New Activist just launched. We talked about that last week on the show. Hot show. Hosted
Eddie, that
by
episode is incredible.
Thank
with John's
you.
Crazy
Do you have any
Socks.
special guests coming up this next week?
I will tell you, we have a very special guest interviewer.
Oh.
One Annie F. Downs.
Oh, Annie F. Downs.
Annie, tell us about your interview. I cannot wait for this.
Oh, I can't wait. It's the guy who runs Christian Appalachian Project. Fun fact about Annie Downs, I super care about the Appalachian population of the U.S. and how they are underserved and undercared for. And so I got to talk to a guy who's spent a lot of his life caring for that population. It's a really impressive and beautiful organization.
It's amazing. It's like when the Harlem Globetrotters appeared on Scooby-Doo. Like we're all coming together finally in one beautiful episode.
I was going to say Gilligan's Island, but they were on both shows.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
The episode culminated with a basketball game that Gilligan, I believe he threw the tip-off for. You know, weird, Globetrotters got rescued that episode. The whole crew, they're still there.
Yeah.
So, it's Good episode.
It's almost exactly how the New Activist episode ends with Annie. I don't want to give anything away, but
she gets off the island.
There's a lot of basketball and a lot of rescue.
I will say this about the show. I love it because I learn about causes and communities that I don't have a lot of like context for, and it's I really appreciate that about it.
Yeah, I think you're going to really like that about this episode, Jesse. Just because it's people we don't ever think about.
That are like literally just in our backyard. Like these are people that live just very, very close to us. It was, I learned, I did not know anything. This was a fascinating one for me.
Also, our new show, Love and Money, is out now. You heard a bit of that on last week's episode. The response to the first episode has been really strong. It's exciting, and the second one done is even better. And we are launching a new show this week called The Faith Angle with CNN contributor, USA Today columnist Kirsten Powers, and author and journalist Jonathan Merritt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's our guest?
I love that guy.
Isn't it the Eric Metaxas this week?
Yeah. So what they do, both Kirsten and Jonathan, I think, have really politically nuanced opinions, right? But, I think, Kirsten worked in a Democratic White House. I think Jonathan, certainly has different opinions on issues that I don't think he neatly falls in like a liberal or conservative angle. But one of the things they wanted to do was get prominent voices from across the political spectrum. They don't want their show to be like one of these shows where it's just that speaking into an echo chamber, where it's just people with the same opinion. So one week you'll have someone who's like a conservative, like Eric Metaxas. You'll have someone who is on more maybe socially or politically liberal side of the spectrum, and it's thoughtful, nuanced conversations, and that's what kind of sets this one apart. And they talked mostly about issues as it pertains to people of faith. So, I was Chandler. I know we were texting about that first episode last night. It's great. You guys definitely
I
need to
like
check
it a
it
lot.
out.
There you go.
Really well.
You like it a lot.
Wow.
No, they do a great
Chandler
job.
texted me unprompted last night.
We need to send out an e-blast. The Faith Angle, huge endorsement quote. I like it a lot, Chandler.
And I got to say,
Literally, Chandler rarely, we're buddies and all, but he rarely like texts me, I hear some text. Chandler, I hope this doesn't violate anything.
Okay.
But this is a text I got from Chandler yesterday. I will say, I really like the Faith Angle. A lot of their points, I'm like, quote, yes, exactly, LOL. So if that's not an endorsement, I don't know what is. That's coming from a very
and I was just like, yes, exactly.
And also I don't know if, can I make an announcement about the podcast network? Kyle tweeted to us, and I want to just say that, Kyle, we hear you. Kyle has asked for a Candy Talk podcast. And you're right, Kyle. We are in the in works. So Jesse and I are really excited about
while you're online over at iTunes, subscribing to all these new RPN shows, head over to relevantmagazine.com. Our 15-year anniversary issue of Relevant is out now. Go subscribe. It's going to be a great year for the magazine coming up. We have some very exciting covers that have locked in for the next few issues. So you won't want to miss out. Go check it out, relevantmagazine.com. You can subscribe today. It's a great offer going on. On that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Eddie Koffold.
Chandler Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Annie F. Downs.
We'll see you guys next week.
This is devotion. I owe you nothing. I be myself and I ain't fronting. No.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
I won't help you understand. I don't need no helping hand. No, see, these aren't tears. This is the ocean. These aren't fears. This is devotion. Why you always have to try me? You're thinking I'm gonna follow blindly. Why you always have to try me? You think that I'm gonna follow blindly. Let me down easy.
And now, Andrew Peterson and the Problematic Choir.
Relevant Podcast Network.